So that old version of you is slick. It knows the ins and outs of you better than you do. That old version of you knows you better than you know the new version of you. Does that make sense? Version of you that's sensing that you're trying to make a power move. It's sensing that you are stepping outside the parameters, you're stepping outside the comfort zone that you're used to being in. You're exploring different thoughts and different beliefs and different ideas about yourself and about the world that it knows once you actually lock it in that its days are fucking limited. So what it does is it runs a bunch of little tricks that it knows used to trigger you at some point in time. Rightfully so, right? The old self, it isn't personally going against the new. It's just trying to keep living. That's all it's trying to do. The scary part is it doesn't give a fuck what happens in order for it to keep living. It would crash your entire situation just for it to keep living, just so you don't keep moving forward into the being or the becoming of the new version of you. It's crazy, right? But it's not to be taken personally. It just wants to live. It doesn't care about your desires. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care that you want to be something better. All it cares about is its own existence. That's it. So it will stop you. It will hinder you. It will block you from becoming whatever version of you that you want to be. That's a slick motherfucker. So it understands that little things or certain things that triggered you before, it understands that all it has to do is just ignite that part of you. Just a little bit, and it knows what you're going to do. It's a clever thing. So you got to ask yourself, how bad do I want to become this new version of me? Do you want to become that new version of you as bad as the old version wants you to stay? Or wants to keep living, better said? Do you want to become that new version of you more than the old version wants to be itself? That's the question you need to ask yourself. How bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to acknowledge those old triggers as just what they've been and what they are? Nothing more than an old trigger? Are you willing to acknowledge that old situation that you went through as being that old situation? Are you willing to actually do that? Are you willing to acknowledge your ego when it's actually trying to step in and actually back that old version of you? It's crazy, because that damn ego, it just does its thing. And it's sad because we all fight it and we all talk bad about it, but all it just has to be understood. Because guess what? The new version of you, the version of you that you are aspiring to be, the version of you that you've been working so hard to become, the ego still is going to be there with that as well. I want you to look at your ego like a vehicle. You can have the baddest damn vehicle out there, but if you don't have the understanding and the ability to maneuver it, to use it, what good is it? So I want you to understand, your old self, it knows how to work that damn ego, especially now, especially in this current phase in your life where you're becoming something different. That old version of you will allow that damn ego to crash the fuck out at the drop of a dime. But guess what? You wanting to become a bigger, better version of you, you understand that. So you understand when that person says this triggering thing, or what used to be a triggering thing. When you look up and the situation looks very similar to how it used to, you know what it is. You already know that the ego is going to try to jump in and be like, see, shit ain't changed. Everything is still the same. But you're smart enough to understand that, nah, that's not what this is. That's not what this is. Hey, ego, sit down for a minute. Sit down for a minute. Let me deal with this old version real quick. And by you dealing with the old version means that all you're doing is standing firm in who you are and who you've become. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that you buck the system. It doesn't mean you try to fight the old version, because the old version wants you to try to fight it. It wants you to try to fight it because you're not going to win. You're not going to win. The old version wants you to meet it at the energy level that it is. You can't do that. You cannot fucking do that. You have to stay 10 toes down in the new version of you. You have to. You have to be able to look at that old situation. You have to be able to look at that old person and see it for what it is. See it for what it is. Understand what's going on in that situation. Understand why those emotions has erupted to cause you to feel a certain way. Understand what that is. Because guess what? The new version of you, the higher version of you, it doesn't see it the way the old version does. It doesn't. It doesn't stoop down to those low energy frequencies and emotions and see that situation or see that person the same way. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So, I got my money on you. But just know that old version is a slick motherfucker. Now, I realize we're all not at the same level or at the same place on this journey. I understand that. There's some that who are levels ahead. So I want to talk to you guys. I know I spent a lot of time talking to the ones that are just starting to get a grasp of this, because I feel like it's important. I feel like it's important to have a community of individuals, or at least somebody you can reach out to that has been where you've been. So that's why I've been focusing so much on them. But for the ones that are levels ahead, just enjoy. Just enjoy. There isn't a whole lot of changing going on in your experience right now, but the changes that you are seeing, I want you to celebrate those. I want you to celebrate those. Why? Because it's important. This new energy signature that you've starting to become acquainted with, it's relying on that. It's relying on that. It's relying on you to be able to easily allow those moments to be the new norm within your life. So it needs your support even more. It needs your encouragement even more. Think back in the beginning, those little triumphs you had. Think about how in the very beginning, how important that was. Now it is just as damn important, if not more, because you're coming out of the phase of feeling as though you are fixing things. Remember, in the beginning, it was like every day it felt like you were fixing this and fixing that and working on this and working on that. And, God forbid we talk about the shadow aspect or the shadow work that was done in the very, very beginning. I mean, the whole process felt like you were climbing uphill. And in a sense, I guess you can look at it as though you were. But now think about it. Now you're at the point where you've got to the top of that hill, and you've looked down and you've seen the different paths in your life that you have the ability to go down. Think about it. You've picked the path. You've already descended the hill. You hit the mountain. You headed down towards a certain goal, whatever it may be, and it's down a path that you had picked while you was up on that hill. You picked that path. You knew that there were still going to be it was still going to be resistance on the path, but you wasn't worried about no resistance because you understand that you're not running from resistance at all. But you knew that the path that you picked had less resistance on it. So you moved towards it. Now you're going down that path. Now just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Each step of the way, I want you to enjoy it. Each step of the way, I want you to celebrate those moments where you're no longer faced with those heavy emotions that you were faced with before. You remember how in the mornings you used to wake up and it was like you were fighting not to have thoughts and feelings that you had the day before? It was like you were just trying to make it to noon. Now look at you. It's nothing like that. It's the complete opposite. Now you find yourself waking up even more energized and more motivated for that day because you've done the work. You put yourself in a certain state before you went to bed. You went to bed. You got yourself in a theta state. You was able to connect to the higher version of you. You woke up the next morning damn near in the same damn state that, I mean, come on. I know, I understand. So now when certain things happen, you realize you're making it way past lunch now before you start to get certain thoughts. And even those thoughts, they are nowhere near the level of sadness or sorrow or whatever that they were before. Nowhere near it. So I want to remind you that right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Enjoy these moments. Enjoy these days. Enjoy these situations that are now coming into your experience. Enjoy. You're deserving. Because now you understand that you're not trying to make anything happen. You are allowing what you desire to come in by maintaining your internal state within each moment of the day. And you realize, like, man, it's not as hard as it used to be. Before, you had to do a shit ton of drills and exercises and meditations and all this shit in order to kind of get yourself back level. Now you don't have to do much. Now you understand the importance of breath work. Now you understand when you take a deep breath, it allows you to now center yourself a lot easier than maybe getting into a meditative state. So for you guys that are levels ahead, I want to tell you, man, just enjoy the ride right now. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy each small goal as they come in, as though it's the major goal that you actually are envisioning for the near future. And congratulations.